Hey guys, we're live. How are y'all doing? So I don't know about you guys, but whoever comes on here, I'll just say hi and such. But just so you know, I'm just gonna be discussing stuff related to CSC, and there's just a bunch of stuff I want to talk about, which we'll get to here in a minute. Actually, we'll get to that here in a sec, because I had that in the description as well. But yeah, actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and start talking. So hey, what's up? So there's a reason I did a live stream because I'm not gonna go ahead and waste a lot of time here. But there's just some stuff that I want to speak about, even if it's not scripted. But so there's like a lot of like Chuck E. Cheese related stuff I want to talk about regarding the legacy locations and the quality of the music and also the quality of the animatronics that they still have like at the legacy locations basically, and why I think they should improve those. And I will also be talking about the memories and such. So yeah, with that being said, let's just go ahead and let's just move on. I mean, no, not move on. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. So we all know what Chuck E. Cheese is. It's a place where a kid could be a kid, right? And I've had a lot of fun memories going there growing up. But now as an adult, like honestly, a lot of people are getting into a lot of nostalgia to it, and that's just honestly really great to see that. I mean, despite its like despite its journey through the days of Pizza on Theory, especially with its competitor Showbiz back in the day. I mean, I'm just surprised that Chuck E. Cheese had literally survived a lot. And like nowadays, especially when looking back, they had a lot of purpose in it. Like there was just a lot of purpose that not a lot of people had paid attention to. But basically because a lot of people like nowadays people are just more into those, and like the more the fan base is expanded, the more likely that a lot of people are into it. And even the company itself is just advertising their own characters, which is really cool because like not a lot of people talking about them other than Chucky, being the mascot and such. But I'm just glad there's a fan base of that. But there's some that we need to talk about also. So we need to talk about the quality of like the animatronics. Like not every single location has nowadays has like a good like not every one of them nowadays, like the non-like Chuck E. Cheese. Oh yeah, it was. I mean, not to everybody, because it did have some downfalls, but it had a larger downfall when Rockstar Chuck took over. But yeah, we need to talk about. But what we need to talk about is the quality animatronics. Now, at the non-legacy locations, like some of the non-legacy locations that still have the animatronics, none of them are real. Most of them are not in the greatest condition as they once were. Now, like with the ones at the legacy locations, they're just really good, honestly. Just with a few flaws, honestly. Like based on the videos I've watched and while looking to them and regarding how they look and such and how people are taking care of them. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to say, but yeah, it is what it is. You see, like with me, I was a huge Chuck E. Cheese fan. Like my parents would always take me there all the time, and I would watch the animatronic shows. And there were other things as well. Like I enjoyed the food, I enjoyed the games that they had, everything. Honestly, just everything that they had. Basically, it was they had everything. They just had everything. Not like everything, but like they had a bunch they could. I mean, sadly not a sports room like Showbiz did at one point, but I mean, I made another video similar to that, but it focused on like you know, on me asking like, hey, maybe in the future they could like, especially towards the 50th anniversary, they could do cover songs, but like what they did back in the day. But they have to do it like legally and wisely. Well, to be quite fair, we'll get to that later in this live stream. What I do need to talk about is this. So yeah, regarding the condition of like the animatronics of the non-legacy locations, they're not doing well, and like ever since they stopped putting in animatronic shows, like since last decade, like the place started to go downhill for its quality. I mean, not entirely, but in some ways, honestly, it's like most of them, sure, some of them have not aged well. Most of them can be really hard to maintain, even though I heard that the dance floors are a lot more expensive to fix than it is to fix with the animatronics, stuff like that. I don't know what to say, man. But yeah, especially with Tom Leverton like making it like ruining the restaurant chain like that and saying, "Oh, the kids stopped watching years ago, and they would wait for the mascot to come out," which that was actually BS because not everybody stopped watching the animatronics. Especially when I saw that video from Nathan Spees, he actually did a really good job explaining the downfall of Chuck E. Cheese and his pros and cons, and like regarding what they can do in the future. Which half of what he had pointed out had aged really well. The others, I don't know. I don't know yet, but you know what? You know what I need to say. Like I don't know what to say, but like I do remember Chuck E. Cheese going downhill ever since they changed the mascot, and they not the mascot, but ever since they changed the makeover, and ever since that, because like they did not let the other voice actor that was doing the voice of Chucky at the time know that he was going to be laid off for that for the other guy, you know, because yeah, that was stupid. Yeah, and ever since they stopped doing cover songs, and ever since they, ever since, and ever since that they've been repeatedly using the same, almost the same songs that they've been using. I mean, and ever since they stopped, I mean, ever since they started getting rid of the animatronics and just, and believe it or not, they actually stopped doing programming for new material of like certain songs that Chuck E. Cheese have, like just only for just particularly for the animatronics. But they did stop doing like. Here's the thing: when they got rid of the animatronics, that was a huge toll. Like that was just one of the worst decisions they ever made. Even though it was fair, but at the same time it wasn't, because to be quite fair, the animatronic shows that they once had in the past were completely fine. They were still beloved despite their age and everything. Like they meant so much to a lot of fans. Sure, even though they were not like moving like the best, but they did everything it could to entertain. And there was this time, like especially when they started getting rid of the animatronics when I was like 16, going on 17, like through this 2.0 process, I was devastated. Especially when I heard about it, I'm like, what? Like I was just devastated. I'm like, no, 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 no. You got to be kidding me. This is impossible. I'm like, but ever since they did, I'm like, it hurt the fans a lot. And there was a time when they say they were going to get rid of all of them. Now, when they said all of them, that really like we were like, if that's the case, then that's unfortunate because like uh, a lot of people are not really done watching animatronics basically from that point, but especially with them getting to it, especially with the FNAF lore, like I don't know what to say. It's just there's just a lot in general. Like it was just insane to think about. when it comes to that. Because shut up, Ezra. Sorry, that was my cat. But yeah, it's just I don't understand why. Actually, I understand why. I mean, I can definitely see why that they had to like get rid of them because like they actually tried doing them like ever since they started doing the other ever since they moved on with other stages like the Awesome Adventure Machine at one point, which is no longer around. I mean, that's been long gone. Um, and ever since they have been ditching a lot of like other older animatronic shows with the Studio C animatronics, like they actually tried to like get rid of them, but they were like, nope, let's just keep one, and that's just that. Sorry, guys, I have to let my she does this all the time. Hey, you do not interrupt my live stream. Sorry, it's just my cat loves me. But yeah, it's just I don't really understand honestly. It's just hey, I'm doing a live stream. Stop interrupting. But yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, it's just I wish I could comprehend everything that's like that, but like I I was I think I was kind of losing words when I heard about this. I'm like, why would they do this? But when I did research on why they wanted to stop doing it and like regarding the condition that most animatronics were in, because like the animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese, there weren't just the animatronics. Basically, they were really famous through pop culture, especially the franchise itself, which is why that it's considered pop culture, especially from the very beginning. But here's the problem also. When they did 2.0, they literally did not make their own showrooms, which they're no longer showrooms. Like they did not make their own party rooms or showrooms like to look as good. I mean, sure they had like a cool looking dance floor, but they had later ditched it out for like a different one that's kind of cheaper, but a little more expensive because like it's literally a TV on the floor. And ever since they got rid of like, and ever since they started like, hey, ever since Tom Leverton left, they started going ahead and like the new CEO started. They went ahead and made an upgrade. Like they went ahead and made an upgrade to the 2.0 entertainment offerings, like they started having video walls. I'm like, it's just something that you basically see at like Main Event or Dave and Buster's, but like they're trying to make it like Dave and Buster's nowadays, but for kids. I mean, it's not a bad approach, but in reality, it's just to the fandom and to everybody's standards when it comes to fandom, it just doesn't give them a good look, honestly, in my opinion at least. But like but like I said, I did some research on why they wanted to do it, and like I heard like questions about why they want to do it. It's basically because like they just want to appeal they want to appeal the new generation of kids for to have them be entertained by Chuck E. Cheese. I could definitely see why, but in reality, it's just not good for some things. But I'm not gonna get to everything. And the worst part is like when they get rid of the animatronics, they have to destroy the animatronics. Like, you know what? How baffling that is. It's like, you could have used them for a private collection, but here's the thing: the real reason that they have to destroy the animatronics and just take photos of it for proof is because they don't want people to use them and just to retrofit and just to create a retrofit in ways that could really scare the shit out of children. I could definitely see why. I can understand. I can definitely understand that it's kind of reasonable, but at the same time, it's BS, honestly. And I think it's also just to avoid copyright. It's just to avoid copyright infringement, which I can understand as well. But it's just, but that policy is just it's stupid. It's still kind of stupid. It is insulting to anyone that is willing to collect different types of animatronics, especially through the standards. It is insulting to private collectors. It is insulting to a lot of that. And you know what's weird? especially like nowadays, kids are trying to call. Kids are going ahead and just calling, like especially like kids these days just are just going ahead and just they're going ahead and just calling the places like certain locations that have the animatronics to see to see if they're going to be sent to corporate, or if they're going to like put in a dumpster, just or if they're going to like because like I heard that they actually pathologically lie about like what they're going to do. Not everything, but like well, that's what I heard about what companies do. Because unfortunately, some companies are like that. I mean, not every single company, but companies like Chuck E. Cheese, like that's I could see why. I mean, I can kind of see why that they have to follow that policy and why they have it. But in my opinion, it's just really stupid. It's like you could have given them a use for it. I mean, it's not like they're gonna go ahead and like use it publicly. If it's like for a public collector, like that's not a public collector, but like a private collector. It's like people out there are actually there are people out there that are private collectors, and they can collect anything that is left behind, basically, and it's just really cool to see. And we've seen that through a lot of things over the years, like with anything related to Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz. It's really cool, and I've seen videos of them, photos of them. The way they do that is just it's just mind blowing to see. Cause like I've never heard of the term animatronics until like I was about 10 or 11. I didn't know what animatronics were until I got more into them. And when it did, I'm like, oh, that's what they have. Okay. It's been some honestly from that, but fast forward to 2023, as we thought that every single animatronic show would be destroyed or phased out. That wasn't the case. Because like before that, we thought the, like, kids would never understand, like, that they would like, we thought the kids today will never get to see what they're like in person, and they'll never get to understand how entertaining the animatronics were. Now I do know that the animatronics can be really, like, they are kinda controversial in some ways because people point them out as creepy because of the way they look and the way they're designed and such, but I don't think they're always creepy despite the I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but the way they stare is kinda weird, but it doesn't bother me. It's not like they're gonna come at you like Five Nights at Freddy's does, because Five Nights at Freddy's was actually inspired by Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz, but in horror standards. And hell, I played the game a lot as a teenager, and I ended up enjoying it. But at the end of the day, it's that. But like I said, fast forward to 2023, um, something very interesting had changed. So I'm pretty sure that you guys know that the Chuck E. Cheese had decided to keep their two stage in Northridge, California, as they will call it, the quote unquote legacy locations, or the legacy location. I mean, because like they just had one at one point, and it turned out to be a success. Because like not only did they had like they have the animatronic stage there, but they also have the dance floor as well as a video wall, like on the back at the back of the showroom, which is really cool. And it is. And what's cool about it is that the Northridge location actually used to be a Pete's Time Theater, so it's kind of cool to see something like that. But I don't know what to say. Yeah, but regarding what they've done, it's really cool. But you know what? You know what kind of baffles me? How they had the animatronics just programming for their press conference, even though that they stopped doing programming for like animatronic shows for like future content. I'm like how? Well, I mean, that's just CEC Entertainment Company deciding to do that just for that. But honestly, like I said, we'll get to the programming stuff later. And then, like, well, as we all know, a year later, like petitions started to roll out. People were asking for like more locations to be saved, and they decided to. And yet, months later, CEC Entertainment decided to do that for 4 more locations. which we will get to those later. But before we do that, I want to talk about some things. So, like I said, I was a fan of Chuck E. Cheese growing up. Like, here's my story. So, like, I remember going to there all the time as a kid. I remember like watching like the animatronic shows. It was just a really magical experience, especially during Phase 3. It's like it looked so real to me, like as a little child. Because here's the thing: when you're a kid, when you're a little kid, you get to see like you view what you see at a place that looks so cool, especially with it like having an older face. It's like something that contains the magic that people see from their perspective. Like it's like if it's something that looks real, then it just amazes them, and it amazed me as a kid. But when I got older, some of the magic started to like it started to die down, but then it started to die down, but then a decade later, like a lot more of it started dying down as well. But that did not stop me from going there, because you know what I did? Ever because like here's the thing: ever since YouTube existed, like I think starting like I don't know about 2007, but 2008, I did start watching the Chuck E. Cheese videos on YouTube, and like either 2007 or 2008, because that was when I first discovered YouTube. Because 2007 was when I first discovered YouTube. I was not a YouTube user yet. I was so young at the time, and I would watch a lot of Chuck E. Cheese videos. Like most of them contain original Chuck E. Cheese songs. Most of them had like cover songs and such. I would always watch them like nonstop, no matter what. And looking at them, it just amazed me to watch them as a kid. Honestly, it really did. And and I remember like learning. Howdy, hey, howdy, Lordman. How are you doing? Yeah, and looking and like watching those shows like on YouTube, it just amazed me, and it had me learn about what Chuck E. Cheese once was. It really amazed me. And I started hearing about this place called Showbiz. I'm like, what was Showbiz? And then I started looking to it, but I didn't look into Showbiz until like 2012 mostly. But I remember looking into a lot of content from like behind the scenes to like the recordings of Chuck E. Cheese, like inside, like everything they had involved, especially the show teams. Like, and I remember learning about the fact that they would actually do cover songs, and I would look at them, and I would watch them non-stop, especially like at the place. Like I was always, and when I heard the songs that I would hear at the place compared to like what I hear, just especially the same songs that we would hear on the radio as well. I'm like, bro, this is the dope. I'm like, so that's pretty cool. So from ever since I started like watching those shows and just listening to the songs that they cover, that really helped me get into music a lot more. It helped me recognize like what type of music. I mean, not just what type of music, but also like, but basically what type of songs that they play in those shows, and who originally did them. Since like the cover songs they did were cover songs and not Chuck E. Cheese's own songs. But like, it was just amazing to watch. And as I got older, I would look forward to them. I would look forward to each one of them. Like I would look forward to each show. I would look forward to them, and I would just sit around and wonder what cover song, what songs are they going to cover next, and I would always get hyped over it. I would always get excited for it, and getting that feeling, even as I got older, like as an elementary schooler, and even as like a middle schooler, that really got me. Like I had this positive feeling because like the music they did, that really it helped me a lot in life, especially with them helping me get into my interest in music and the songs they cover and what they do and such. Like it was just amazing. It they just did everything. But unfortunately, when they stopped doing cover songs because of the lawsuit that they had faced, because like someone went ahead and sued them for the cat video intermission that they did in one of the shows. That really hit me because they quietly stopped, especially parodies. They quietly stopped doing that crap. And I don't know. Sorry about that, guys. It's just those random notifications I'll be getting. But yeah, it's like ever since I stopped. Oh, no, 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 not stop. Excuse me. Hold on, man. Again, this is a non-scripted live stream, but yeah, like ever since they stopped doing that type of music, and ever since they stopped doing the dialogue, because like in the dialogue, like they would always have the dialogue, not just the cover songs or original songs or the parodies. They would always have like it's like they will always have like the character speaking like in the dialogue as if it's like especially with the laugh tracks they put in that made it feel like a sitcom. Now not all shows had that, but they had a lot of that. But in the modern Chuck E. Cheese, they had most of that. And when they did, I'm like, oh, that's really fun. That really made my day because it felt like you were just watching an animatronic sitcom, you know. And yeah, that was really fun to watch. Oh, oh, really? Yeah, it sounds like a Studio C animatronic. Sounds like he was on random movements. But yeah, it's like I don't even know what to say. It's just but like looking into it and people filming the shows and the way they do it properly, well, not I mean, not all of them, but like the ones that they have been doing it for a long time, they've done a lot. And watching them as a young fella really got to me, honestly. But yeah, yeah, but like when they stopped doing the dialogue, it seemed really off. But it did not fully stop me from doing that, especially when they had like cover songs because they did like puppet skits between each show. But it wasn't like that entirely bad. But like when they stopped doing that for like other things, well, because they're like, oh, we just want to move on and such. I'm like, yeah, because they quietly did that, and I have no idea what was going on in the minds of that company. Like once 2015 hit, but I mean, if they want to move on, that's on them. But yeah, I mean, but I did kind of continue to now here's the thing. I you know I did continue to go to Chuck E. Cheese just to film the animatronics because like I started filming the animatronics in like 2012. I don't know why I had it done that's weird. Don't just ignore that. But like I started like filming the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics in 2012 like in person, like at my local ones basically. And I learned about a few other locations, and I actually ended up going to a few that I never went as a child, but like as I got older. And when I did, it amazed me from left to right. That's just all I can say. And looking at that, as a young fellas, okay, I don't know why I'm repeating all this stuff. Just sorry, but like even if they didn't do like even if they stopped doing cover songs and parodies and dialogue and such through the animatronics, like I was still into the some of the shows. Even though they had like two songs, but I'm like, maybe this isn't that bad. So I went ahead and did that. And yeah, so I went ahead and like filmed the shows that only had like two songs. And when they started doing doing more songs, I'm like, you know what, let's just do more of that. And yeah, but like in 2016, I started to realize that the new shows that Chuck E. Cheese was gonna have, like, I realized that some of them were starting to go downhill because I knew that they were starting to go downhill like after like right after 2014. I knew that I had a feeling that there was something going on. So yeah. Um so and like the last time I ever went to a Chuck E. Cheese in person was back in it was in early August 2016. And I was filming one of their summer shows. And I went and when I did, that was the last time I ever saw any of the animatronic shows close to me before they went ahead and removed them a few years later. Because when they did, I'm like, wow. Now I was aware of the fact that they had the 40th anniversary stuff going on because they were celebrating 4 years of fun. Like not 4 years, 40 years. Because like it was the 40th anniversary of Chuck E. Cheese in 2017. Because they remade some of the songs, not cover songs, but the original songs like "Together We've Got It." They remade Every Boy Every Girl, and they also remade Chucky's Place. Which, not gonna lie, but Chucky's Place is like it is actually one of it is actually a fan favorite in the Chuck E. Cheese fan community, or the Chuck E. Cheese community, as well as the fan base. Yeah, that's why a lot of people play it all the time. And I remember listening to it as a kid. I'm like, oh, this is fun. And when I did, I'm like, oh, this is nice. Honestly, I'm glad that it exists, which they did. But the here's what really gets the kicker. Ever since they started 2.0, like during the 50th, not 50th, but during the 40th anniversary, and like I honestly knew that the shows were starting to go downhill. So like that's why I didn't that's why that is why I did not bother watching the shows so much. And ever since they partnership with like Kids Bop, because like they're in charge of like doing the cover songs, but just for those because they just want kids to be tuning in like Kids Bop stuff since they still do cover songs. I know that Glee and Alvin and the Chipmunks used to cover songs. I'm not sure if they do those anymore, but yeah, I don't even know what to say. So yeah, but here's the thing. I didn't get into anything Chuck. But here's the thing. I did watch some Chuck E. Cheese stuff like on YouTube like throughout the years, even if I have not been going there as much anymore. But here's the thing. Yeah, just with ads. That's what happens. I mean, I'm just monetizing the stream. So yeah. Ever since I don't know what to say, but but like ever since the show started going down, I mean, I did start looking into I did start looking into some of the shows the shows that they would have, especially with the quality and such, and the showroom and I mean not showroom, but like the store tours the uh that the people that film there would do. Like I literally remained excuse me, but I remained amazed in those things. But at the end of the day, but like after a while, I stopped caring for Chuck E. Cheese because of the fact that they had a huge drop in quality for a while, especially during like the Rockstar days. I'm like, mm, yeah. So I literally did not bother with anything related to Chuck E. Cheese, not even during the pandemic. Now I was aware of the fact that they had closed a lot of locations during the pandemic, but they got out of bankruptcy, which is good. But yeah, and you know what they did? So like for uh for delivery orders, what they're now doing just to make money, and well, they still do this today, but they went ahead and made a disguise of Chuck E. Cheese, which is Pasquale's Pizza and Wings, where you basically can order anything you like from the place, and when you get it, it really tastes like Chuck E. Cheese. Honestly, I actually gave it a try a few times. Like, so here's the thing: I tried the pizza first, and I'm not gonna lie, it tasted the same as Chuck E. Cheese. I honestly did not care. I honestly don't really care for the pizza like I used to, especially because of that zing feeling that you get in your stomach after eating. It's like, yeah. And the next year, actually, like it was last year, because like I ordered it back in October 2023, because I was getting myself ready to go out and see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie with my friend, and yeah, that's what I did. And I also went ahead and not ordered, excuse me. What should I say? Oh yeah, so like last year, before one of my internships that I had to go to, I got to try the chicken wings and also the cheesy bread. Actually, I tried the cheese. I actually tried the cheesy bread. Actually, I tried the cheese bread. Actually, I ordered Pasquale's Pizza and Wings twice last year. The first one was when I ordered a salad, chicken wings, and French fries. Not gonna lie, but the chicken wings and French fries, they were so good. Salad, it's all fine. Now I did have the mozzarella sticks and the cheesy bread at the Chuck E. Cheese like for a while, basically like whenever I used to go there. Yeah, and I used to go to and I did get a salad, which I basically did. I like the other I like some of the locations I went to because like the locations I went to, my childhood locations were Coleraine and Sharonville, and the other ones I went to later in life were Eastgate and Florence, and that was it. Just my those were like my four local ones. Florence was farther away than like Eastgate. Coleraine and Sharonville were a lot closer to me. We used to call the Sharonville location Tri County because it was in that area. Yeah, yeah. So I did try the cheesy bread, but when I ordered the cheesy bread from Pasquale's Pizza and Wings from last year, I thought it tasted good. But the only problems that I ordered it. Here's something that's really ridiculous. I went ahead and ordered it during I don't know. I went ahead and like ordered it during the Hurricane Helene, and it was just so weird. It was weird. And it was awful because I had to wait for like an hour or two for someone to drop it off to me because of how bad the hurricane was. And yeah, but then it came in. I had the cheese bread with the pepperoni in it, and it tasted good as well as I think I had the chicken wings. Well, I don't know. I think I had that in the I think I had that in the chicken wings and the fries and the Pepsi because they have Pepsi. But you know what's devastating? Speaking of Pepsi, Chuck E. Cheese used to have Coke products, but they got rid of it in favor of Pepsi. I'm not sure how long their contract is basically for the Pepsi, but maybe during the 50th anniversary they can maybe switch back to Coke, but I doubt it. Who knows? so yeah, um, oh yeah, because things change basically, and ever since ever since I saw the changes like in my life, I basically knew that like we unfortunately live in a society where things change, whether it's good or bad. Because like not all change is bad. Because change is usually good for everyone, but like I just it's just if it's not done right, then there's a problem. Especially when they make those changes quietly. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? I don't even know what to say, man. But at the end of the day, it's just that. But yeah, regarding the legacy locations, so yeah, like ever since so yeah, back to legacy locations. Another reason I went ahead and like decided to get back into Chuck E. Cheese, even though I'm not really as much of a fan of Chuck E. Cheese like I once was, I started, I started to tune back into Chuck E. Cheese just only for the legacy locations, basically. And like ever since Chuck E. Cheese decided to keep the animatronic stage at the Northridge location. Excuse me, sorry. Yes, like ever since they did that, people were literally making petitions and just asking about it. Because like we spoke about this before, but like when they did that, Chuck E. Cheese actually responded. They actually responded this chaotic moment, and they went ahead and made a survey on what they could do, and what locations that they could have to keep the animatronic stages, and we did, and yeah, and one of them said, we can make it like a retro type place, like an 80s and 90s place, and most of them chose that, and most of them chose locations like well, not a lot of people chose Nanuet, but the company did, but others chose other locations like Pineville, which was another major one. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Hicksville and Springfield. Sorry, guys. Yeah, my lips are chappy. I'm sorry about that. But yeah. So back to the topic. I'm sorry for getting off topic, guys. So yeah. Ever since so because of all this going on, it took them a while to decide, and I had a gut feeling that they decided to. And when they did, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But here's the thing. But here's the thing: when they decided to keep the Nanuet, New York location, which is basically it's basically the location that contains the Studio C beta, even though that Studio C is not programmed anymore. I mean, that kind of ticked the fans off, but that did not stop Chuck E. Cheese from taking their own time and being like, oh hey, you know what? Let's go. Sorry about that, guys. But hey, you know what? Let's just go ahead and keep a few more animatronic shows, and that's what they did. They decided to keep the CU1 stage, which by the way, CU stands for Concept Unification. They decided to keep the one stage, not the one, the CU1 stage in Springfield, Illinois, which used to have a three stage back in the day. They decided to keep the one stage in Hicksville, New York, and they decided to keep the most historical and iconic three stage that we know and love in Pineville, North Carolina. Now, Pineville is actually located in Charlotte. So yeah, and they had this area in Charlotte called Pineville Matthews, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be dope. I knew that they were gonna make it dope because I knew that they were going to improve the three stage a bit. Like like, but and like here's the thing: ever since they decided to bring back Munch Jr. as a replica animatronic, as well as Pizza Cam, which they got Pizza Cam from another location that got 2.0. That was just, I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Especially ever since they got the currents, even though they don't really have them operating at this point, but maybe in the future they will, which we'll start talking here a bit. Like, they made a lot of improvements, and I'm just really happy to see that. Especially like along them putting a dance floor and a video wall, and like as well as a Chuck E. Cheese memorabilia area like next to the showroom, which is cool. Like I think the way they do it here is it's just really cool to have that. You know what I mean? Like it's just really insane how they did it, and watching the grand reopening parties and like seeing those for like photos and videos. I have not been there in person yet, but I'm about to be here in the future, like actually in the foreseeable future. But I'm not going to say when. But I might be going to the one in Pineville first, since that one is actually the most accurate. Like that one's the most accurate. I wouldn't say retro, but like that one's the most accurate legacy location, and I think it's just really cool. Basically, and yeah. So I kind of came back in the fan base just for that, just to support the legacy locations, and it just makes me happy. But you know what makes me happy? The fact that the Nanuet location decided to do the Throwback Thursday shows, or where and they do this where every Thursday they play some old songs from the 2000s of Chuck E. Cheese, not cover songs or parodies, unfortunately, but just some original songs, and some of them were actually really good. And seeing that makes me like, okay, that is really cool. Because there are some songs that I really like from the older shows, like that have like "That's a Deal" and "What Up." I do remember "What Up" very well as a kid. Now, here's the thing: there are a few things I like to point out regarding the other locations and regarding as well as in Inuit. You know, now other locations don't have a lot of like unique. They don't have a lot of unique retro stuff. Even though that Nanuet has some of it in their shows, and as well as them keeping some of Phase Three stuff just in the interior. And ever since, oh my god, and they kept a few just for Northridge, but not everything because they made it like entirely almost like Phase Four, but also with Phase Five and like 2.0 all together because of the. I mean, not entirely 2.0, but like you know what I mean with like the fluorescent lights that they have to add. I get it's because of what I get the reasoning is literally because of like because they really want to appeal like newer generations of like children. I get that, but still it's just kind of weird. But here's the problem. Now, actually this one I'm about to talk about is not a problem. Now, But Bella, who's the new character, is not replacing Pasquale. I mean, it does seem like it, but I highly doubt she's going to entirely replace Pasquale. Like, so he ain't that shit ain't going nowhere. So yeah, I'm not worried about it at this point. Even if it does, well, I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, um, yeah. So the problems we have regarding some of the legacy locations that, in my opinion, they have not done enough. I mean, they were kind of worth the hype from the beginning, but in the end, since they have not like done as much, they've done some, but not like everything that we wanted, like how we wanted them to be. Like for example, they say, "Oh, that we're gonna put in something cool for Nennywood," when they turn it into a legacy location just with throwback Thursdays. That's it. It's like we thought that they were gonna do something with the Studio C beta, but nope. I'm not sure if they're going to bring back the Studio C programming for Nanuit, but I hope they do just for that location because that would be really cool if they did. Even though they don't program any new content for any of the animatronics anymore, but I think in the future they should do. They really should, just for the legacy locations. Because here's the thing: when they announced in 2023 that they were going to that they were going to stop doing programming for the new animatronic shows, we were like, okay, like we were fine. Like it was understandable because at the time we thought that like Chuck E. Cheese was not going to save any of the animatronic shows at that point. But it turns out that it turns out that they decided to keep them. But like, well, nope. Even if we do, we're still not gonna program any of these anymore because we gotta move on with things. Like, I think it's just so ridiculous. Like, it's like, okay, well, even though they have like new songs just only for like just the for the current Chuck E. Cheese stands, but for the legacy locations, I think they need to take that into consideration now that they've saved some just for extended time. Hopefully for a very long time, but not forever, basically, but just for generations to come. And I don't even know what to say. It's like, okay, well, and like, and hell, even even as we thought that like, hey, like even as some of the existing stages like the Cyberemic and CEI animatronics, like even as they ended up getting saved, we thought that hey, they should do like new programming for those as well since they're considered legacy locations, but they're like, but nowadays but they're like, nope. I'm like, are you kidding? It's like, come on, it's like, in my opinion, when they went ahead and stopped programming shows like that, like when they went ahead and stopped programming shows for Chuck E. Cheese just for the animatronics, they, in my opinion, they did it at real bad timing because when they went ahead and decided to keep the animatronics, I'm like, uh, they should have had a lot more time to think about it before even before even doing any of that because with them be like, "Oh no, we can't do this and that." Like, well, maybe if the sales from like the adventure zones that they're putting in nationwide at like most Chuck E. Cheese locations nowadays, like it's like if they're basically going to make more money through that, then like maybe they should put in more money just to reprogram the shows and just make them better and maybe make the songs even better and like maybe redone some of the songs that they made like just original songs basically. It's like, come on, man. I don't know what to say, man. It's just really it's confusing when it comes to their planning and such. Because what I hear is that the Chuck E. Cheese company itself does not have a lot. I'm gonna have to agree to a lot of I'm gonna have to agree to a lot of fans that Chuck E. Cheese does not put in a lot of comprehensive thoughts into like making stuff like that. It's just if you're really gonna do it, just all you gotta do is make more money and save and just put in there. But I know they're gonna focus on other things as well. Like they're gonna make like a Squid Game based game show as well as an animated TV show that's supposed to come out this year. We're not even exactly sure what streaming service is going to be on or what channel that the new Chuck E. Cheese animated series is going to be on, but we're going to have to wait and see about that. And I heard they're gonna make a water park out of it, like a water park based off of Chuck E. Cheese. It's kind of weird, but okay. Now here's the thing. This is not the first time that Chuck E. Cheese has done this because they made like a direct to video movie themselves. They made grocery items to promote Chuck E. Cheese as well as toys, which they did try doing that in the past. And I know that they made like an 80s animated t- I think that they made like an animated special from the 80s during the Pizza Time Theater days, but I'm not sure if that was really enough. But now they're doing it in different ways, which I'm not gonna lie, but like I mean, regarding what they're doing here, it's cool. And the thing is, they even went on a live tour a few years ago, just on their own, which is not bad. But like, I don't even know what to say. I just got a message. But here's the thing. But here's what baffles me. What baffles me. I'm just baffled that Chuck E. Cheese is not going to be like improving like any of their shows, especially for the legacy locations. It's like I get they have like new songs, but hey, you should really play the Throwback Thursday shows as well, not just send Inuit and have the animatronics program for those. I would love to see that basically as a fan, like as an older Chuck E. Cheese fan that grew up with that type of thing. Like I would love to see that. And what about like and I know they're not going to do this like right, probably not anytime soon, but maybe in the foreseeable future. But I will. But here. So this is to what we need to talk about things that they need to prove. I'm not sure about you guys, but now I am aware that Chuck E. Cheese has Kids Bop sponsoring them for like certain things, like through music. But here's the thing, also, what I think that they should do, and I'm just going to say it politely because this is just my constructive criticism. This is the constructive criticism that I'm just giving as like a feedback to like, or as a response to like the legacy locations that they've put and how they're doing it right now and such. But here's the thing: if you're gonna make a legacy location, you should make it like retro because it wasn't like retro enough. I mean, a memorabilia is cool, but like, why not making it more? They also made the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic in Pineville a little more retro with the cool Chuck outfit. That looks cool, basically. They improved on that, but I think they need to prove a lot more than that, a lot more than what they did and what they've been doing. So one thing that I would love to see Chuck E. Cheese doing, like the company itself doing, just for the legacy locations only, is to maybe and maybe have the animatronics programmed for new content, but only for like some things that are going to be that would be necessary for the legacy locations, despite the legacy locations being 2.0. So yeah, and what I would like to see also is that I've been talking, you know, I spoke to some people in the Showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese fandom group on Facebook about this, but I would love to see Chucky. I would love to see the Chuck E. Cheese Pineville location. I'm not saying now because like this is expensive. I'm sure it's expensive to do that with the 3-stage animatronics, but or we should call them CEI animatronics, of course. But which, by the way, CEI stands for Creative Engineering Incorporated. But I think that like the Pineville location it would be really cool if they just reprogram, like not just reprogram, but reoperate the curtains that they have just throughout every show that they do. But saying like, oh, they're never gonna operate curtains again. It's only like I heard now I did hear from someone that they have that they like that like if they're gonna reoperate the curtain motors, they're gonna have to like rewire stuff like but saying that they don't have time to, in my opinion, that kind of sounds like a lazy decision. No offense to them, but just they should really take their time on looking into that and just maybe like you know what, let's just go ahead and do that just and make it amusing again. Because like here's the thing. regarding these cyberamic animatronics, they have their curtains working, and they do really well with it. Now I know the Nanowit, because yeah, it's like I know the Nanowit has improved a lot, but they brought back curtains as well, but they're not operating because they don't have the Studio C programming or anything, and they got the Avenger bot. They got a different Chucky bot, but in the Avenger clothing, which is really cool. And to me, I mean, or in my opinion, I hope that in the future they improve that with a lot of things. But saying like, oh, but like with a three stage, I heard it's a lot harder. So like, but I don't know everything about like engineering. I heard some things about engineering, but like, so I don't know how everything works in that case. But when it comes to curve motors, they're like, I'm like, I don't even know what to say. But with them being like, oh, we're never gonna operate them, and someone that was just being so pessimistic in my response to that on Facebook, they were like, "Oh, well, guess what? The three stage is not going to be here for long." Well, you don't know that. I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt until like unless it actually happens because that three stage ain't going away for a long time. And what people say, "Oh no, there's gonna be three legacy locations." More like five, unless if one of them closed. I mean, well, like we already know that like the locations will likely like we definitely know they will close, but not like in the near future, because the Springfield location has been on X for a while, but I'm not worried about that. Uh, like I just want to like we the Chuck E. Cheese fans just want to see, as well as the families, we just want to see the uh the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics being preserved, and that's what they've been doing. And I've loved, and I'm glad they're doing that. But I just hope they do it for a long time because like if we don't show anything to our future to like future generations, then how we're supposed to do that other than showing them like the animatronic, I don't know, like other than showing them through videos, because like it's not the same experience watching them through videos compared to like watching them in person. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sorry guys, my lips are dry. But I don't know even know what to say. I don't even know honestly. But yeah. So yeah, it's just I just hope I'm not. Yeah, but here's the thing: if they're going to do now, there's no way that the Chuck E. Cheese in Pineville would just go ahead and like try to get the current operation or just to get the current motors fixed because like I heard it fried the state, it fried the animatronic show. I'm like, I'm glad they got it, but here's the thing: if they're gonna, I just hope that like they maybe like get like a new current motor, or but saying that oh they're never gonna fix it like ever like I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say this to some fans, but you should never say never because you don't know what that future will hold. And saying like, "Oh, you're never going to," it's like that's just you giving up, and that's not okay. Now, I'm not saying you need to do that or anything, but like, I'm just encouraging. What I'm saying is that I'm encouraging the entertainment department to like take this into consideration, take it seriously, because they said they're gonna put in some of the magic, not like the magic that well, not like the real, not like the real magic, but the magic that they give, like to the point where they make things look real. Like we would love to see that, even though that they had the curtains operating for a little bit, but they haven't done anything in that. But it's just I don't even understand. But I mean, I can see why they. I can see why they're not doing they're not fixing the curtains right now. But like I think they need to fix. They need to reprogram them soon. Not now. I mean, not now, but I hope they do it soon. Because at the if you say never, because like then I'm not. Well, there are some things that we say never to, like say you should never give up, or and stuff like that. But like when it comes to some that we love to see, maybe this is something you should never say never to, because like I said, you don't know what the future will hold. And that goes with like the future content of the shows as well. I want now with the predictions. we're gonna have to wait and see. But I would not continue to have your predictions high regarding the shows going downhill like that, because you never know. But like I said, we're gonna have to wait and see. So I'm not gonna say yes or no to everything, but yeah. But now let's talk about the music. The music. I'm not saying they're gonna do now because, and plus, I'm sure they're covering the songs that or doing cover songs that that anybody could do. It does cost money. I'm pretty sure about that. But here's here's the point. I would love them, maybe in the future. I would love them to maybe, just maybe, in the foreseeable future, do cover songs that people would recognize, especially with the new ones, especially the songs that, especially with the songs that Chuck E. Cheese had never done with their animatronic shows before. I would love to see that, and maybe if they could like improve their movements and not just making them all cheap. Like I would love to see. Well, aside of the cyberamics, I'm talking about the ones that can do a lot. I hope that maybe in the future, if they could, not now, like not right now, not this instant, not soon, but later in the future, I would love to see I would love to see the entertainment department taking this into consideration and maybe putting in the cover songs, like songs that we enjoy, songs that are like that are targeted to older people as well, like adults basically, not all of them, but like yeah, as long as they do it legally and wisely, because they need to have a licensing, like some special licensing, like let's say mechanical licensing, like a mechanical licensing. You need to have that to do like cover songs. With parody songs, I heard that I heard that with parody songs, when it comes to parody songs, you don't have to. I heard that when it comes to parody songs, you're not required to have licensing. But I heard it's a fine line. If you do any parody songs, it's a fine line. You can get sued by the original artist. But if you do it without permission, yeah. But like even though that they don't require licensing, unlike what they do with cover songs. So yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. So I hope that in the future they do. And it's unfortunate also, not to mention, but like it's unfortunate that the fan base is not really that good. But thankfully, I'm not one of those people because I was a fan of it way before then. So I'm glad to be someone that's an older fan and that knew it kind of well. But and maybe like I hope, and like maybe towards the 50th anniversary. I don't know how long their contract is with the Pepsi products when it comes to selling their drinks. But if they switch them out to Coke, I would love them to do a parody. I would love them to do the parody song again, but redubbing it to like drinking a Coca Cola. I would love to see that again. Like, and I mean, and hell, a lot of fans would love to see that again, basically, if they can. But we don't know that for sure. We're not gonna know until, and if they really plan on to that, we won't know until we see it. We'll believe it if we see it, if that ever happens. But right now, we know it's not happening. But we know it's unfortunate how they're not going to save the Studio C Alpha. Yeah, that's also unfortunate, especially since they got rid of the one in Burbank, which, well, I guess they were right because with changes, that's what happens when you grow up. Because like when things change, like that means you got to move on in life, and it sucks. But at the same time, it's just reality. But at the end of the day, I don't even know what to say. But yeah, um, there's only one more thing I want to say. So the last thing I want to talk about was that this was actually from the Chuck E. Cheese survey, and I would love to see them do something that would be really cool. I would love to see Chuck E. Cheese. I would love to see Chuck E. Cheese doing adult dance parties. Even though I know that they don't have like anything going on right now, but I would love to see them doing that and to like maybe have songs like and to have songs that are not really Chuck E. Cheese songs, but mostly the cover songs they do. But if they really do cover songs, they're gonna have to get the license to do that, and to redub them again, and to redub them, since they have like new voices of Chucky, Helen, and Munch that they got in recent years. So yeah, and this is why I'm saying that they got to do it legally and wisely, because I took a mini law class when I was in college, and they're they were being very serious when they spoke about licenses and how to use them and how much it costs for that, and why it's really important, because copyright is a very serious law, because you don't want to use someone else's thing without their consent, and it's been like that for a reason. So yeah, so I hope in the future that they maybe, and maybe one day, since they're only going to keep five animatronic stages at five locations, maybe that could be a lot easier to maintain. You know, that could be a lot easier. But I know they have like other locations that are like non-legacy locations where they're going to like get rid of the animatronics. But hear me out on this. I hope that in the future they can go and like making them like that. Like now with adult dance parties. Now I heard that. No, I know they actually started doing weddings, but not really officially, but they're trying to. But in reality, they're actually trying to, and I hope that like in the future they can maybe do like an after hours party, like where they can open till like they can be open all night until like 11 p.m. on the weekends, except for Sundays. Basically, like Fridays and Saturdays, like at the legacy locations only, they could do that, and they could like bring in like and the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics could cover the songs that, like, if they do it legally and wisely, they could go ahead and like make cover songs of like, I mean, they could do cover songs of like certain songs that they know, even they have a little vulgar, a little language like where it's like "Hello and Damn," but yeah, but here's the thing. While we know that Chuck E. Cheese should still while Chuck E. Cheese shall still be kid friendly, mostly because as it usually is, especially in most locations, I think like regarding the current locations we have, they should really take that into consideration, and I hope that in the future, maybe just maybe. Now the other one here, the last one I'm going to talk about is doubtful. Is kind of doubtful, but maybe, just maybe, they could bring back the dim lighting in specifically in the showrooms, just at the legacy locations, because basically when they had dim lighting back in the day, that really it gave a lot of good vibes. It gave a theater feel. It gave a theater vibe to everybody. Well, despite them having it so despite the lighting, where they would sometimes have it like so high, but sometimes they'll like have it like low. I just hoped in the future that they could basically have the dim lighting in the showrooms, just only at the legacy locations, but not at the ones where they have 2.0, but just in the legacy locations, even though that they're 2.0 basically, because that would make it real nice. And I would love to see that. And if that ever comes to fruition, we don't know if they'll ever be the case, but if that really comes to fruition, I would love to see that. Excuse me. But yeah, guys, I don't even know what to say, but I cannot wait to check out the legacy locations in the future. And like I said, if they really do improve the shows at Chuck E. Cheese, I might be able to come back to Chuck E. Cheese just to relive my childhood, just only at the legacy locations. And yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. I don't even know what to say, but and I just hope that the shows don't go downhill like that after improving like that. I just hope that they don't. If they really improve, I just hope that they don't go. I just hope that they don't go downhill like that through show quality like that ever again. But who knows? We're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna end the stream here. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, this is me, Byron, signing off. Peace.